either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast MicroViews. I'm Nicho.
And I'm Chris.
And we have another episode that breaks bricks.
It sure does.
We're doing a maybe not so classic, maybe cult martial arts movie.
A martial arts movie of its own making, for sure.
From the brainchild of, some consider a hip-hop icon, or, you know, he is a hip-hop icon.
He is a hip-hop icon. How dare you?
A genius. We are doing The Man with the Iron Fists.
Truly, a one-of-a-kind movie.
Yeah, so for those unfamiliar, The Man with the Iron Fists is a movie about a bunch of warriors and assassins that come together over some fabled treasure, and a blacksmith and his sex worker girlfriend get caught up in the crosshairs of these other groups' ambitions.
It is truly the most interesting version of the martial art film that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with this, don't get me wrong. And this movie has a very unique style, thanks, of course, to RZA and his deep involvement in the making of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, there is a lot for those of us who are Kung Fu film fans, to kind of like, oh, a little bit of an homage here, a little bit of a retelling of a story there. But not so much that you need to know any martial art movie before.
No. But it is written by Eli Roth and RZA, directed by RZA, starring RZA as the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Jamie Chung as Lady Silk.
Absolutely.
Russell Crowe as Jackknife.
He's in this one.
And Lucy Liu as Madame Blossom.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. Honestly, this is one, I've watched this not quite a few times, but like 3 or 4 times at this point.
Yeah.
And every time I watch this, while you do say there are a lot of things for martial arts fans to like,
there are.
This is the one thing that initially frustrates me with The Man with the Iron Fist, because I do really, really want to like this movie because it has a lot going for it.
It does.
Is just there is so much going on with the story. I get so lost of like, who's supposed to be who, because half the time you're introduced to the person, they're killed in like the next scene or a couple scenes later. Absolutely.
And while this movie is starring RZA, the main character is the blacksmith, played by RZA. Mm-hmm. You would not know that for the first, I would argue, 30, 45 minutes of this movie.
Oh, yeah. No.
And not in like a fun, we're getting to meet other characters and build some backstory sort of way. Just more in a chaotic storytelling sort of way.
Yeah, and I mean, they're all a little bit over the top, and...
Well, sure.
But they do it in like this weird, serious manner, which is fun for this, because it's like, okay, they're not in on the joke. This is like an actual period piece that's supposed to be. And like, I do like that the blacksmith is an unassuming hero. Mm-hmm. But like you said, we kind of forget about him, and he is out of the story so often that you kind of get in the groove of like, okay, Jackknife's supposed to be the big guy.
Sure.
But like, he serves as like a narrator over a bunch of stuff too, and just...
Yeah.
He ends up making me think a little bit of like the Crippled Avengers, or maybe a little bit more like the One-Armed Swordsman.
Oh, yeah. I agree with the One-Armed Swordsman sort of mindset. The thing that really threw me for a loop with this movie is that this movie's characters and story, and granted, most martial art films aren't terribly concerned with being historically or period accurate. There's kind of like, similar to the West, there's kind of like the generic martial art-esque time, and you just kind of like fill in the gaps and it's fine. This one tries, though, to explain its very obvious outside characters, but then that gives it a time period and a place that then don't work, because this whole thing evolves from having no time period in place.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is, instead of letting the world be, it has to explain almost every single aspect of this and whatnot.
Yes.
Because, like, I mean, it's based in this mythical village called Jungle Village.
The worst name ever. Let's be real.
For me, what it is, it's 100% just a mimicking of the concrete jungle.
No, it is. Okay, so, like, when you watch this for the second time, you realize that this is just a music video that has been lengthened into a full movie, which is fine and cool. And we've had many music videos that have come out that people have like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cool if that was a whole movie concept? This one started movie concept, and then like everyone was like, oh no, I see how maybe this was inspired by some music video ideas. But because of that, there's some stuff that like just a little small name change, just a quick little explanation would have really solved a lot of problems.
Yeah, or just let it be. Cause,
yeah, like don't give the place a name at all.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like it tries having everything be so cool that there's not really like a quote unquote lame person or just kind of
true. Everyone is too badass.
Exactly. And honestly, that's the other thing too, is like there is such a large cast in this too. Like it's
my god, yes.
It's not just the first couple people who we said are starred in this.
No, my list of people I recognized from just quick looking at the list was long. Yeah. And impressive.
Yeah, Rick Yoon of Fast and Furious fame, Jamie Chung who was Amber in Sucker Punch, who's Go-Go in Big Hero 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most importantly, probably her biggest role ever, she's Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
I mean, hell, even the Abbot is Chai-Hoi Lee.
Yeah, Liu. That's true.
And we see him as Johnny Mo and Pai Mei in Kill Bill, as well as
hell yeah,
Sante in one of the best martial arts movies ever made, The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. Hell, Batista's in this movie, who at this time was just really coming out of wrestling, but
still, Batista's in this.
Yeah, and they, like, that's the other thing too, is like, I like that they give everyone kind of these simplified names for their characters too, like,
that is nice.
It's Bronze Lion, Lady Silk, Madame Blossom, Brass Body, but then, like, they go Gold Lion, and then it's like, okay, which one was Gold Lion? Because you cut to this guy for 2 seconds, cut to this guy for 2 seconds, and then we've kind of forgot about them for a whole scene, and now one of them's dead.
Yeah, so something that was very interesting watching this film is this has literally the opposite problems that Wild Wild West did.
Yeah.
Where Wild Wild West was too detailed in some of its storytelling and then also had too many stupid characters, this has too many good characters and isn't detailed enough in its story and world building, which is disappointing because what made Wild Wild West a cult classic was people were so enamored with these dumbass details and how bad the characters were that there was room for improvement and growth. And while this movie is really cool with really cool characters and cool action scenes and really interesting and cool actors, there's just not enough there to like kind of like get the gears going.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one scene where there's these really cool yin-yang blades that
so cool
we get to see, but they're only like used for that one scene and both characters die in it. And it's just like, okay, I would have liked to have a little bit more of this action of like with everyone else using their abilities, because we see them use their abilities once and it's over.
And when I say that there are things in this movie, especially storytelling wise, that a martial art films fan is going to like at least be interested in, unfortunately one of those things is the weak spot of a lot of very much older martial arts films, where there's a lot of things happening with stories that are meant to be interwoven, and it kind of works in those older movies because they feel more like a stage production. You have a lot of time between dialogue and a lot of time between action, so you have all this time to kind of remember what gang is going through what, who's currently overtaking whose clan, who's the lord of the town. This movie throws all of that sort of complex world building and story, but they throw it at you really, really fast. And
it's not like Smoking Aces where you have all these different groups of assassins, but they're all visually distinct and interesting. The big ones that I broke this up into was the blacksmith.
There's blacksmith
and Russell Crowe's character,
and who unfortunately is shaped and voiced just as Russell Crowe, so it just becomes Russell Crowe. Something that I don't think aged the movie super well.
Oh, see, that's the thing, is I'm okay with that, but like it's those big three, because like honestly, Lady Silk,
she's a little replaceable.
You forget about her, and then like it's Madame Blossom, who's like that's the main three, and then there's everyone else in this movie, because that's the thing, is like there's like one other female warrior, And
I
then
completely
it's all,
forget about her, though.
Yeah, then it's all the brothel workers. And then that's
but
like...
who apparently are also trained assassins. We'll get to that.
See, that's the cool thing, is like it has these elements, and it's like, okay, this could be a really cool idea. It's kind of like, I think what the issue is it's in a very similar way.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to try and set up a larger world, kind of like how John Wick has its whole world.
It very much feels where, like, because, like, in John Wick, everyone can shoot a gun well.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can kind of sort of martial arts fight, and John Wick just happens to be a god among men.
Yeah, but the way we're done with this is John Wick is introducing us to the rest of the underworld.
Yes.
As he's returning to it and, like, re-meeting all these people. Instead, this is the blacksmith has existed in this world, and we don't know, like, he knows everything.
Okay, and that is my main complaint. They make a very cool character with the blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
He's very interesting. He's very different than what we would normally see in even an American martial arts film. This is a very different style of story than we have seen. And I'm very interested. This is very cool. We wait until the literal last possible second to give blacksmith any substantial character building event, and then we just kind of make him magic and go on with the day.
Yeah.
That's so disappointing. What, like, have this, like, he's the main character. Let him truly be the main character. Introduce him at the beginning. Get us really invested in that love interest of his, because honestly, I could have cared less about her. Their relationship didn't have enough interest to me.
No.
There wasn't enough time for it to build. I wasn't attached to her in any sort of way. It just kind of was thrown at you like, hey, by the way, this is a driving factor for him. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm still not sure why he's here.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where he's just kind of caught up in the crosshairs. I think mostly what his story is about is overcoming the disabilities that he ends up being inflicted with.
Sure, but it's the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, well, I think the other part of it too is it's also the consequences of being part of the war machine by providing weaponry to, like, both sides, like, kind of war profiteering just a little bit.
Sure, but they don't focus on that in any way. In fact, he doesn't profit in any way. They spend so much time just, like, saying, like, yeah, he's a decent blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, they're like, no, actually, JK, he's the best blacksmith.
Yeah, well...
You're like, okay, well, you didn't prove that to me in any way.
No, he just makes these weapons for one side of the army, and then the other's like, oh, you made these. Well, or no, it's the guys he provides them to, and they're like, yeah, no, you're not making these for anyone else.
Yeah, which, okay... again, on paper or in an older, much slower martial arts style film, that plot point works and is a good, solid plot. But we're layering that on top of being an outsider, on top of eventually this magic disability where he can control iron with his will. I don't know. And then on top of that, also he's also a martial arts master. When did he learn that? I would like to know.
Well, what it's trying to do is it tries to do that. I know exactly what he's trying to go for with this. It's that Bruce Lee style of movie where he's a man on the path of peace until provoked, but he has to make these weapons. But that's the other thing too, is like, he's on that path, and we're supposed to have like this, almost like they want Braun's body to be this rivalry, but when they don't do anything to build it up, and they end up just making us, it ends up just even the only reason it feels like they're in conflict is because they like the same woman, and the only reason we should be mad is that he almost killed Lady Silk.
I completely agree. And then when they explain the Naruto bullshit chakra system that apparently runs this world that you don't know about for the first hour of the film, because the main villain, Bronze Body, isn't really in this movie. Mm-mm. I would have assumed that it was the Lion Clan that was the bad guys. I was excited for them to be the bad guys because they have funny haircuts.
Yeah.
And that was actually really clever because I saw it and I went, oh, they're lions with stupid mullets. Cute. I hope there's a wolf clan and we can have wolf haircuts. That would have been hilarious.
Exactly. And that's what it is. There's too many fronts that it builds up that doesn't really feel resolved towards the end, because honestly, like, the whole, like, build up, the final fights, don't get me wrong,
they're cool. They look cool.
They're cool.
They're very cool.
It's just like, okay, we have 20 people that we have to worry about their endings, and even then, like, the actual end of the movie is so non-climactic, and it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, here's some Naruto tech shit, and then we're off.
Well, and here's the thing that's very confusing, because when explained the Naruto-esque bullshit with the hands when they are welding arms onto his arms. I was like, okay, I kind of follow where we're going. We've got the last little bit of the movie. And so it makes enough sense to cover him with his arms. Mm-hmm. And then we get to Bronze Body, and it is revealed that he's using the same magic bullshit to make himself metal all over. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. You just explained to me how this is supposed to make sense. Did he cover himself in zinc-based sunscreen, and he's using that? What is this? Because it doesn't make any sense! It doesn't make sense. He's not wearing armor. He's not wearing, like, chainmail. He's not wearing, like, plate armor. They just CGI show him turning into the Crocodile Man, which is cool, but it doesn't make any sense in their own magic system.
Well, I think partially it's because the magic system doesn't really go too far. It's just
No, because it's introduced 20 minutes before credits.
Yeah. I do have a really stupid thought. Hear me out a second.
This movie's real stupid, so let's go.
Do you think he uses his power to make himself hard when he's
110%. Without any question in my mind. No doubts. Absolutely. Because that's the other thing that this movie is a little bit... This movie wants to be an adult movie so damn bad. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it came out in 2012, when martial art films were not really... And American, too. Not even, like, foreign. This is an American film. And so, by 2012, in America, martial art films were not necessarily seen as, like, pure adult comedy or pure adult entertainment anymore. Like, these... You didn't expect them to be so gory or so raunchy or so sexy that, like, a 13-year-old couldn't go.
Yeah.
And this movie, and granted, I know we watched the DVD. I specifically watched the uncut one, because I'd seen this movie before, so I wanted to see all of the bits that I, as someone who was not ever going to buy this, was missing out, because you bought the DVD.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I've had it for a while.
Yeah,
so.
I've always ever just watched this on, like, the TV when it comes on. Mm-hmm. And so I was excited to see the extra scenes. And there were extra scenes, but they weren't more extra than what was already in the movie. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, oh, we cut back so that we could get that younger audience. It was more like we added stuff to make sure that younger audience would not be part of the film. And all of those scenes come from Russell Crowe's character, who does not have any reason to be in this film.
I like him in it, though.
I do too, but, like, this movie needed to be just Blacksmith's story and the sequel, which there is a damn sequel. I didn't bother to watch it because it didn't look like it had anything to do with what we were talking about today.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either, but I've heard it's not good.
That sequel should have been starring Russell Crowe. Like, have those two characters, have time for me to be interested and care about them, because Russell Crowe's character is just honestly in the way of the entire story, of the entire plot. His character's cool, he's so suave, he gets all the ladies, he has money, he's powerful.
Well, I mean, how do you think he gets the ladies? He
pays for them.
Yeah, exactly.
But we spend so much time looking at Russell Crowe that you legitimately forget that he is honestly barely a side character.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be the main character of the movie.
No, he's really not. And if this had been a, like, more traditionally filmed martial arts film, this would have been one of those characters where they show him coming into town, there'll be a little bit of whispering and be like, oh my gosh, have you heard so-and-so's in town to investigate the crimes? And then they would show him again at the end when he takes them away. Yeah. That would be, like, the majority this character's role should fill. And don't get me wrong, I understand it's Russell Crowe. You're gonna get your money's worth out of him. He's on your film. But this is a bit much.
Yeah. I think the thing with this movie with the casting is there's eye candy everywhere in this whole movie.
No, there is. There totally is. It just takes away from any storytelling, unfortunately. It is the equivalent of saying you watch certain animes for the plot, and the plot is just jiggling boobs.
Yeah.
And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for that, but I do genuinely feel that RZA had a better story to tell, and the boobs got in the way.
Yeah, well, and it's not like, there's a movie I watched earlier this year called The Curse of the Golden Flower.
Yes.
And, like, the heavy push-up work there, and, like, it's like, okay, like, you're taken aback a little bit, especially, like, watching old 60s, 70s Shaw Bros martial arts movies to... Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of cleavage here.
Yeah, normally all of the interesting things about a Shaw Bros is like, wow, that hair was a really bad choice.
Yes. But I think that's the thing with this movie is that we keep going back to this multiple prongs of this movie that don't work.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that there's a bit where they say that a struggle for power, the people step on those seeking it through violence, sex, and gold. And it tries hitting all three of those. And I think that's the issue, is that it's trying to do all three, because you got everyone hunting for the gold, which leads to the violence. Yeah. And then you have Madame Silk's characters. And then
in the way,
unfortunately. And that's the thing too, is like, if it's supposed to be this three prong of character, and that's the other thing, they don't really build up any other rivals too. If Madame Silk is the sex, and all the other people are the violence, and the blacksmith is
justice,
normality,
violence.
Like what? Yeah, that's the thing, is like, he's not really doing it for any of these. He's fighting for his freedom, and then like, again, knife. We get told why he's there, but it's just like, why all the other stuff too, of like, have him, like, make him feel like power hungry in one way or another. I think he's supposed to be there for like the treasure hunting, so he's the gold. So yeah, the blacksmith is violence, Madame Blossom is sex, and knife is gold.
Sure, but here's the thing. You legitimately forget that the gold is part of this film, despite it being talked about most of the time. Because unlike other martial art films that use the a treasure hunt of some form, and I have seen a lot of movies where there is a treasure hunting. Some are buried, some's in caves, some's under the ocean because it was in a shipwreck. Like, I've seen every variation of the treasure hunt story possible. And normally there is like a actual location that the treasure hunting is happening in to kind of like help facilitate some storytelling, have some plot. It's such a weak sauce thing that it's only interesting when you get to booby traps, and the booby traps are only interesting because you know this is an over-the-top martial art film, and the booby traps are happening in a booby house.
Yes.
So like I see the poetry that was like written into that. I'm totally for it. It's just, we could have gotten rid of the gold entirely. Like, just throw it out the window.
Yeah, just make it like a roving band of mercenaries.
Sure, just have random hooligans. You know, like the Lion Clan is so stupid anyway. Just have them wandering the countryside looking for people to beat up. I would have been totally okay with that.
Or they've taken over this brothel, and that's the issue. Is that's what's forced the blacksmith into it.
Would have honestly been a smoother process. This unfortunately, the plot had too much plot. Less plot, more interesting on the certain points of plot. But there was a lot that was really good with this movie. The action, super well paced. The choreography was very interesting. It is a little bit high-fly, fantasy, kung fu sort of style, but I like that. That's my favorite kind. It's not as over the top as I normally go for. This is a little bit closer to like just standard choreographed fight. Yeah, but it's still fun.
It's a little slow at times too, which honestly,
well, partially because unfortunately the people who are starring in this, with the exception of a handful, normally do not do their own kung fu stunts. We're not dealing with a Bruce Lee. We're not dealing with a Jackie Chan here. We have one guy who had just come off of MMA. So, like, not quite the same.
Are you calling Batista MMA?
No, I'm not. But I'm saying that out of everyone in the cast, he is the most experienced with at least a fighting style of any kind. I mean,
WWE.
WWE. But... I mean, so, like, but, like, there's not an expectation of flair that I would normally associate with a reality-based kung fu film. Even dumb ones that, like, this is gonna be reality-based kung fu, if they know they can't do real kung fu, they cover it up with silly, like, we're gonna speed up the film here, we're going to have, like, lots of close-ups of flips and jumps and that sort of stuff, which this film does, but it relies really heavily on CGI and just letting you be in with the action. It's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's also not bad, especially for an American film starring mostly not kung fu based martial artists. So I don't mind. And the music's good. I liked the music.
Yeah, for me with this, I kind of forgot about the music, which maybe that works with blending in with the style of the movie. It wasn't like when I watched Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, which RZA did the music for, where that just feels, it stands out a little bit more compared to this one. And maybe that's just the styling of, it's used as points to like push that movie further, whereas this just becomes part of the action and a little bit of the storytelling with like the lyrics reflecting a little or paralleling a little bit what's happening in the scene. Yeah,
I also think that at least for this one, it's, and I have no hard evidence on this, but I have just some basic understanding of when promotion stuff started for this. My guess is that RZA had this concept and had music before the movie was like really underway or finished, because part of the promotional material for this was 11 different concerts featuring performances by himself, Wu-Tang Clan, bunch of other performers as well, as like part of this movie's like coming out thing. Not in like a, oh hey, I have an album, wouldn't it be cool if there was a movie? No, like a full concert just for this movie with 11 showings. There's a little bit extra. And so when I say I think we had a music video idea spanning multiple songs first, that's kind of why I think that.
Sometimes they call that a concept album, Chris.
I know, I think that's what we had. Don't get me wrong, it was, like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's cool in the way that, like, I'm not putting this up there and, like, the Holy Grail is so cool. It's also not quite cringy enough for, like, for it to sit beautifully next to Wild Wild West.
Well, I mean,
it's cringy, but it's not the same.
No, it's something that works with the movie itself compared to like Wild Wild West. That's the only
thing.
Yeah, it's like that's the only song that is tied. Like, well, it doesn't work with the rest of the soundtrack of the movie.
It also clearly came after the film was done, and they were like, "What if, real quick, you threw that together?" Yeah,
at least Will Smith's Men in Black song is actually kind of dope,
and also repeats across the multiple Men in Black movies. So like, it feels like a theme album, whereas like this one, the music is good enough that it blends in. It does fit well. The styling matches the tone of the movie, which does help. I think it would have been weird if this was a little bit more of a traditional kung fu film, or even like a more high-flying martial arts film with more fantasy, because honestly, from the martial art world, the fantasy on this is really low. Yeah. We could have had more.
A lot more.
The sky is honestly the limit. The CGI budget is the limit for fantasy nowadays. And so like, it sits kind of in the middle, unfortunately, which I don't think did it any favors, because it is cool. It's just not quite cool enough.
Yeah. So then, Chris, would you rent, buy, stream, or decline that we ever watched The Man with the Iron Fist, despite having an audio recording of us watching it?
I would rent this, especially if I have a friend who hasn't seen this, because you don't need to like martial arts. In fact, maybe don't like martial arts and watch this film. It's good enough that like maybe once a year I'd rent it. I'm glad you have a copy of it, because I'm just going to borrow yours. But like, part of me wanting to buy a DVD copy or a physical copy of something is if there is other stuff in owning it. Either it's harder to get a hold of, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to find it again, or like we've talked about with some of our longer reviews, it's got a bunch of stuff in the DVD. This one's DVD was just okay.
Yeah, I'm on the stream side, and while I do agree it is fun, I do think it is a bit slow and all over the pace for what it is in its average runtime.
Sure.
Like, there's lots of characters, there's too many, but, like, the action's fun. And, like, I can see where he's trying to continue this tradition of, like, your classic martial arts movies.
Absolutely.
And then kind of give it a little bit of a modern twist. I don't think he goes far enough with giving it that twist to the point where it just feels like another generic martial arts movies at time too.
It could have gone harder for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's The Man with the Iron Fist, and it is our farewell to the martial arts world for now, even though it was short-lived. I'm sure we will return one day, but it is the start of that time of year. Time to stick your fangs into the cultural zeitgeist and drain the spooky season for all it's worth.
It is time for me to become my true form.
A raccoon?
Just fall.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll look forward to that. You should get a real big hint from what I just said. So.
I would hope so.
But, anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast, MicroViews.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Thank you for stopping by this here town of the good, the bad, and the weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace.